There's a moment, sometimes quiet and unnoticed, when you finally wake up, not from sleep, but from the illusion you've been clinging to, that moment when your heart no longer wants to fight for someone who never showed up for you. It doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's just a tired sigh, a whisper to yourself, "I can't keep doing this." That moment is not weakness, it's a beginning. It's the start of you remembering who you are. You see, we don't lose ourselves all at once. It happens gradually. We start saying yes when we mean no. We stay silent when something hurts. We downplay what we need because we don't want to scare them away. We think if we just love a little harder, stay a little longer, prove our worth, they'll wake up and realize we're everything they've been looking for. But love doesn't work that way. The people who are meant for you won't need convincing. They won't make you earn your place in their life like a reward. You won't have to shrink to fit their comfort zone or hide your heart to protect theirs. They will see you, all of you, and choose you without hesitation. The truth is, the longer you stay in spaces that don't value you, the more you forget how valuable you are. You start thinking that crumbs are a feast, that someone texting you at midnight means they care. That being almost loved is better than being alone, but you're not here for almost. You're here for extraordinary, for consistent, for present, for safe. You're not crazy for wanting more. You're not demanding for asking for clarity. You're not too much just because they can't handle your depth. You are simply no longer available for love that confuses you more than it calms you. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop chasing. When you finally sit with yourself and ask, "What do I need?" and for once you actually listen, maybe what you need isn't more effort. Maybe it's less convincing. Maybe it's not about holding on tighter, but about finally letting go. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared so deeply that you finally realized your heart deserves to rest, to be held, to be chosen, not eventually, not when they're ready, but now. And always, sometimes we think we're being loyal, but really we're just afraid. Afraid that if we let go, we'll never find better. Afraid that starting over means we failed. Afraid that being alone confirms our deepest fear, that maybe we're not worth staying for. But that fear is a lie. You are worthy, even when they don't see it, especially when they don't see it. You are enough, even when someone's actions make you question your value. You are lovable, not because someone else says so, but because you exist, and that's reason enough. It's time to stop romanticizing potential. Stop falling in love with the idea of what someone could be if they just healed, if they just committed, if they just figured it out. Potential is a story you're writing for someone who hasn't even opened the book. Look at the present. What are they showing you now? Are they consistent? Are they making space for you? Are they meeting you with the same energy you give them? Because if the answer is no, your story deserves a new chapter. This isn't about being harsh. It's about being honest with them, with yourself. You've spent enough time hoping someone would rise to meet you. Now it's time to rise for yourself. There is a version of you stronger, freer, more grounded waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. She's already inside you. She's just been quiet, waiting, watching, hoping you'd remember her. She's the version of you that doesn't chase, that doesn't explain away red flags, that doesn't keep the door open for someone who keeps walking out. She's not bitter, she's not cold, she's clear. She's done confusing attachment with love, done settling for chemistry without commitment, done thinking that her worth is something to be proven, that version of you. She's powerful and she's ready. You don't have to apologize for your standards. The right person will rise to meet them. You don't have to beg for effort. The right person will offer it freely. You don't have to feel guilty for walking away. The right person will never give you a reason to consider it. The work now is internal. It's about healing the parts of you that thought love had to hurt. That thought being chosen meant being perfect. That thought silence was safer than honesty. You get to ask for what you want. You get to hold space for your needs. You get to walk away when the energy doesn't match. That's not selfish. That's self-respect. And if someone calls that too much, let them go find less. The next chapter of your life doesn't require you to be smaller. It requires you to step into your full self, unapologetically, unshakably, unconditionally, because here's the truth. When you raise your standards, you don't lose people. You lose the ones who were never meant to stay, and that's the win. Let yourself grieve, but don't confuse grief with regret. You didn't mess up by caring, you didn't lose by loving deeply, you only lose when you stop loving yourself in the process. You were brave enough to hope, bold enough to believe, kind enough to give. That's not weakness, that's power. You don't need to become cold to protect yourself, just wiser, and wisdom sounds like, if I have to chase it, it's not love. If I have to beg for it, it's not respect. If I have to lose myself to keep it, it's not for me. And now breathe. Let that settle and start again, not from pain but from power. You might feel like you're starting from zero, but the truth is, you're starting from experience, and that's everything. You've seen what doesn't work. You've felt the ache of being half loved. You've learned the lessons people taught you through silence, distance, inconsistency, and now you move differently, not because you're bitter, but because you're finally awake. The past doesn't define you, it refines you. Every person who couldn't love you taught you how to love yourself more fiercely. Every unanswered message taught you to stop waiting for clarity from someone who thrives on confusion. Every one-sided effort showed you that peace is worth more than presence. So the next time you start to question whether you're doing the right thing by walking away, remind yourself, choosing you is never wrong. You were never meant to chase, you were meant to attract, and what you attract changes the moment you realize your worth isn't negotiable. You deserve someone who doesn't just say they care, but shows up. Someone who doesn't just admire your strength, but protects your softness. Someone who doesn't make you feel like loving you is a burden, but a privilege. That starts with you being that person for yourself. Speak to yourself kindly. Let your inner voice become your greatest ally, not your harshest critic. When you say, I deserve better, don't whisper it, believe it like it's gospel. Stop waiting for permission to move on. You don't need closure from someone who refused to give you clarity. The closure is you choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over chasing, truth over illusion. They might not even notice your absence right away. But one day, they'll look up and realize the energy you gave so freely is gone, that the version of you who stayed despite the hurt isn't available anymore, that the love they took for granted now lives somewhere else in someone or in yourself. And by then, it won't even matter, because you'll have already healed, already grown, already become someone you're proud of. You'll laugh without wondering who's watching. You'll love without fear of being abandoned. You'll trust your instincts, not because they're loud, but because you finally learned to listen to them. There's a quiet strength that comes from walking away, a power that builds in the silence of no longer fighting for what you were never truly given. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Your peace is not too much to ask for. Your standards are not too high. Your softness is not a weakness. The right person won't just tell you they value you, they'll make sure you never have to question it. And until that person comes, be that for yourself. Be the one who shows up, the one who listens, the one who honors the little voice inside that says, I deserve more. Because the truth is you do. You were never meant to be a second thought, or a backup plan, or someone's option while they figure themselves out. You were meant to be the person who lights up a room, whose energy feels like safety, whose love doesn't come with conditions or confusion. But to become that version of yourself, you have to let go of the places, people, and patterns that keep you small. You have to stop making excuses for people who never try. You have to stop explaining your value to people committed to misunderstanding it. Let that be your line in the sand. From this moment forward, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you choose. You don't shrink, you rise, because you're not desperate, you're discerning. You're not needy, you're honest. You're not too much, you've just spent too long being around people who wanted less, and now you're done. Done proving, done performing, done pretending you're okay with halfway love. You've done the work, you've cried the tears, you've learned the lessons, and now you're ready not just to be loved, but to love yourself like never before. That version of you, the one who knows their worth so deeply it intimidates the wrong people, she's already here. Every time you set a boundary, she gets stronger. Every time you say no to what drains you, she stands taller. Every time you walk away from inconsistency, she becomes more unstoppable. You don't owe anyone access to you just because you used to love them. Loyalty to someone else should never come at the cost of abandoning yourself. You've got one heart, protect it, nurture it, surround it with people who pour into it, not just take from it. If someone wanted to love you, they would. If they wanted to show up, they'd be here. If they cared as deeply as they claimed, their actions would never leave you guessing. So stop interpreting mixed signals as a maybe. Start hearing them for what they are, a no, a gift in disguise, a redirection towards something better. Better isn't a fantasy, it's real, it's consistent. It's emotionally available, and it's waiting for you once you finally say, I'm done settling. There's a version of your life that exists beyond pain, confusion, and chaos. A version where you feel safe, whole, loved not because someone else said so, but because you learned how to love yourself completely. And that version, it starts with one decision, no more almosts, almost called, almost showed up. Almost committed, almost loved you right. You don't build a life on almost. You build it on certainty, clarity, reciprocity. You deserve that, not because you're perfect, but because you're real, because you love deeply, because you're doing the work, because you show up even when it's hard. And that kind of heart, it deserves to be met with the same energy. So promise yourself this: the next time someone shows you who they are, believe them. The first time, no more potential, no more rewriting the story, no more waiting for someone to wake up and see what's been in front of them all along. You are not a placeholder. You are not an emotional safety net. You are not a soft landing for someone who can't decide if they're ready. You are the destination, and the only person who will ever make you feel like too much is the one who's not enough. So let them go. Let them go, not with hate, but with grace, not with bitterness, but with wisdom, not with anger, but with peace, because while they couldn't love you right, they taught you the most powerful lesson of all. You don't need someone to choose you when you finally choose yourself.